Hi there, my name is Les Gordon. Welcome to this Flight Plan to Success webinar series. Today's number 5, and we're talking about wealth dynamics, and the question today is, what is wealth? Now, before I go too much further, we actually conducted this webinar for the first time on Google Hangout a few days ago. It was such a fun, interactive event, lots of laughter, lots of fun, and unfortunately last night as I was uploading onto YouTube, I dropped the hard drive onto the floor, and that's the end of that particular recording, unfortunately. So now I'm re-recording and recreating the major points from that webinar, and I'm going to do it with velocity, and I'm going to keep it nice and short. Okay, so I had all sorts of definitions and perceptions around what is wealth. I think we were quite established that wealth is not the same as money. And I'm going to let my mentor and friend Roger Hamilton share his definition of wealth and the wealth paradox. Thank you, Roger.
Wealth dynamics is about wealth, but that's not the same as money. So we're going to start with what is the definition of wealth. Everyone who goes out to create any kind of wealth at some point comes across the wealth paradox. And for many of us, we've come across it many times already. So what is the wealth paradox? It's the idea that the more money you have, the more opportunities you have to lose it. The idea that people who start to create money and have money in their bank account, somehow it just disappears again. You could take someone who goes and wins the lottery, someone who gets some great inheritance, but then you see the money come all the way down, and where does it come down to? The level of their wealth. Similarly, people who are actually truly wealthy, well, you can see them, you can take away their money, take away their businesses, somehow the money just comes right back up again to the same level. So that's the definition of wealth that we have, that wealth is not how much money you have. Wealth is what you're left with when you lose all your money.
Welcome back. And did you get the key distinction about wealth not being about money, but what you have left after you've lost all your money? So what does that actually mean? What that means is that's the value that you provide that attracts money. So let me give you that as a metaphor in terms of butterflies. So if you're involved in sales or marketing or virtually anything else that requires you to get up every day and look for butterflies, that is customers, then you may spend your time working on better strategies. For instance, making a better net, a bigger net. The challenge, of course, is that you may catch butterflies today, but what's happening to them overnight? The butterflies can leave. And so wouldn't it be better, rather than spending your day chasing butterflies, to actually have the butterflies come to you? And all we need to think about there is, what is it that attracts butterflies? And of course, it's flowers and gardens. So if you were to invest your time into building a beautiful garden, guess who automatically shows up? That's right, butterflies. And not only do the butterflies show up, but they bring their friends, the birds and the bees. And those birds and bees and butterflies will actually help you by cross-pollinating your garden. In other words, word of mouth, and bringing more visitors to your garden. If you were to use another metaphor of water and a river, the riverbed is the wealth, the water is the money. The water may actually dry up and disappear, the money may disappear. But the minute it rains, the riverbed fills up with water, and we have that place where we've attracted all that money again, or in this case, all the water. So the question you've got to ask yourself is, what is the garden that you are building today to attract your butterflies? What is the riverbed that you're carving so that when it rains, water and money flow to you? This is a very key question. Okay, and looking at the previous versions or the previous recordings or episodes of this webinar series, we've talked about areas that could help you. One, following your passion, following your heart, what you love. causes a natural attraction factor that's infectious to people when you're sharing your vision and sharing your passions. And then following your talents. If you're good at analytical work, then invest your time to become a better analyst. If you're better with people, then get out there and nurture your network and use your talent. And in this way, we can invest our time to improve our knowledge, our skills, and our experiences in the area of our passion and talent to build that beautiful garden for you to attract what it is that you want to attract in your life. So I think we've established that wealth is very different than money. And another interesting distinction that Roger Hamilton mentioned was that the more money you have, the more opportunities you have to lose it. And this is such a true indication. I'm sure many of you listening to this have those times where you've actually attracted a certain amount of money and only to lose it. So the question becomes is, why do we spend so much of our time chasing money, when if we actually get it, we're most likely to lose it? And of course, the lottery winners all around the world are a great testimony to this, in that the overwhelming majority of them have lost all their money and are in a worse state financially than before they won the lottery. So ask yourself the question, if I'm chasing all this money and I'm investing all this time and energy into doing it, why would I do that if at the end many of us will actually lose our money? So if we instead focus on our wealth can never be taken away. Two examples: Steve Jobs and his Apple stores. So when they're releasing a new product at Apple, people actually sleep out in the street. We know that. And they will wait to get their hands on that first release product. A friend of mine was just sharing a story recently where they were releasing the iPad mini, and his friend, a store owner, said, don't worry, we can get that 24 hours later. But my friend still continued to line up and sleep out overnight to get hold of that product when he could have easily just picked one up 24 hours later. That's attracting butterflies. Our second example is Donald Trump. And as you're probably aware, he was billions of dollars in debt back in the early 1990s. And even though he was wealthy and lost all his wealth, he was actually able to build it up today where he's even wealthier than he was before. As Roger says, water finds its level and wealth finds its level. So what are you doing to increase the level of your wealth, your mindset, or as T.R. Becker would say, your blueprint? And one final distinction for today I want to talk about is luck. See, a lot of wealthy, successful people are considered to be very lucky. Well, wouldn't you want to be lucky too? So if we break it down a little bit, we can actually start to see what it takes to be one of those lucky, successful, wealthy people. So I'm going to use sport as a metaphor because sport is such a great metaphor for business and life, and we can time compress it into a 60-minute or a 90 minute game. Let me use soccer. I'm going to use Wayne Rooney. My 8-year-old son James is an absolute fan of Wayne Rooney. And why? Because Wayne is always in the right location to put the ball into the net. So how does that work? He's in the right place at the right time. The ball comes in, he kicks the ball into the net. Because he knows where he needs to be as he's playing that game. But that would be useless without understanding why he is there. So let me just back up on the location. He knows he's on the field to play the game and to be in the right spot. Is it possible that maybe you are not in the right location? That in fact going to your job day after day after day is actually in the wrong Pass. So location is key. Second part of luck is understanding. Understanding why you're there. See, Wayne Rooney knows when he sees that ball come, he understands, I've got to kick that ball into the net. So do you understand what it is that you're doing where you are? The third letter, C, stands for connection. You can imagine, there's Wayne, he's in the right location, he understands what he has to do with that ball when it comes, but he's waiting and the ball never comes. Perhaps that's indicative of people waiting around for opportunities in business, in life. So waiting for that opportunity at 20, 30, 40 years of age, 50, maybe it's time to look around and see if there's anybody there. So if Wayne looks around, maybe everybody's gone off to the shower. He hasn't put time into nurturing his connections to pass the ball of opportunity to him so he can kick it in the net. So have you invested time into nurturing your network and your connections? And then finally, K stands for knowledge. So there's Wayne, located in the right spot, understands exactly why he's there. He's made all the connections so the ball is coming to him, and he has the skill and the knowledge and the experience to be able to kick that ball into the net through practice. So how's your knowledge and your skills and your experience? And going back to the flow lock, remember, it's best served when they're aligned with your passions and your talent. Your passions following your heart. Your talent is what you do best. So they're the key distinctions I want to leave you with today. Is what are you building? What garden are you creating to create your long-term wealth and allow the money to flow through? And how are you being lucky today? And how are you showing up at the right place and understanding why you're there and connecting with your network and continuing to improve your knowledge, skills, and experience? Remember, luck is where preparation meets opportunity. Well done. Thank you for showing up. I hope you got some value out of this one. I look forward to seeing you in webinar number 6 as we continue our journey into Wealth Dynamics.